Hello. Hey, for May of 2018, I'm planning my fourth trip to Peru. I hope you will consider joining us. The trip will include a visit to Machu Picchu, to Cusco, and to Lake Titicaca. Be an exciting adventure. I'm Billy Moore. I've planned several trips in the past. Recently, two to China, two to Egypt, and three to Peru, as indicated here. Planned tours that I have are listed there. Iceland, Egypt included. Hope to make that third trip to Egypt in October. The tour highlights are we'll initially start in Cusco. We'll spend 3 nights in Cusco, not consecutively. There we will have a city tour. We'll visit nearby ruins. We'll have an excursion out to the Sacred Valley, and there'll be other optional tours available. After we leave Cusco, we'll be traveling to Aguas Calientes and spending 3 nights there. The Vista Dome train will take us out there through some beautiful mountains, along a river, through mountain passes. We're headed out there so that we can have a full day to visit Machu Picchu. While in the village, we'll visit the hot springs as an option. We can hike into the rainforest, and when we are at Machu Picchu, we can have an optional climb of Huayna Picchu. The itinerary for the trip it ranges from 16 May to 24 May. We'll depart Miami early on the first day uh, to travel to Cusco via Bogota. And you can see there and on the itinerary that I'll attach what our actual daily plan is. Temperature in Peru is very comfortable. Very little rain in May. The nights are cool, the days are very comfortable. There are no insects. In the 3 previous trips, we haven't had any insect bites. In fact, we haven't even seen any insects in Peru. Unbelievable. You'll need a passport, but no visa is required. Your passport should be valid for 6 months. We'll be traveling on Avianca. We've traveled on 2 previous trips with this airlines. It's quite comfortable. The route of flight is from Miami to Bogota for a short stay there as we change planes and head into Cusco. We'll arrive in Cusco at about 11 o'clock in the afternoon or in the morning, and we'll have a day there before we explore the Sacred Valley on day 2. Um, Later, we will travel down to Puno by bus, and then when it's time to leave Puno, we'll fly to Lima to await our transportation back to Miami. Uh, the Miami flight will be direct. There's our flight schedule. It's quite comfortable. Time to Cusco, including the stop in Bogota, is about 8 hours. And when we fly back to the U.S., it's about 5.5 hours direct from. We'll stay in a hotel very similar to this while in Cusco. The 3 night stay will be a very comfortable hotel. Will be adjacent to the town square. We'll have shopping and restaurants immediately in our. The Cusco Square itself will be very close to the hotel. It's incredibly beautiful with restaurants and shops surrounding the square. It's quite active in the evening, as you can imagine. And the elevation of Cusco is 11,200 feet. On day 2 is when we visit the Sacred Valley. We'll see 6 or 7 very beautiful sights out there, and we'll be traveling by bus and return to Cusco when that tour is over. During the tour, we'll stop in the Pisca market so you can get a shot at the colorful wares that the Peruvians are selling. Their dress is prevalent throughout the area. It's not just for tourists; it's what they really wear. When we go out to Aguas Calientes to visit Machu Picchu, we'll be traveling on Peru Rail. Here's what the coach looks like. It's very comfortable. Our route is very scenic. It's about a 3-hour rail trip along a river, through mountain passes, and through some beautiful country. We'll be staying at the El Mapi Hotel in Aguas Calientes for 3 nights. We've stayed there before. It's a very nice hotel. It's located conveniently in the small village. Uh, Breakfasts and dinners are included here, and the dinners were fantastic. We'll have a chance to visit the hot springs if you like. It's just a short walk from our hotel through some beautiful scenery. I'm talking maybe a couple of 100 yards. I don't, is as far as we'll have to walk. The Machu Picchu is a World Heritage Site. It was built 500 or 600 years ago. And it was only occupied for about 100 years. It was abandoned when the Spaniards came. It was rediscovered in 1911 and has been a sought-after tourist attraction for all of these years. The elevation is about 8,000 feet. Huayna Picchu in the background is about 9,000 feet. I'll have more to say about that on the next slide. I mentioned that we would have an optional climb for anyone that's fit enough, not afraid of heights. This is an incredibly exciting climb. It takes about 45 minutes to get to the top. Once you get up there, you can see the view behind me there of Machu Picchu and the valley and mountains around, and also the terracing in this very, very difficult to work in landscape. And the buildings on the top of this peak are pretty impressive. Worth the $30 fee. Only 200 people a day are allowed up there. It's a very sought after attraction. In Aguas Calientes, we'll be able to explore the scenic village. We'll be able to hike to the rainforest and waterfall along a railroad track through a couple of tunnels and into the forest. We can visit the hot springs, and breakfasts and dinners are included. But if you want to enjoy a lunch, there's plenty of cafes along the street, so you can see here on the left. When we return to Cusco via the Vistadome bus, or train, I'm sorry, we go back to our hotel and we start touring of the nearby ruins in the Cusco area. The following day, on day 7, we take a bus excursion to Puno to visit Lake Titicaca. It's a 6-hour trip. It's very scenic. We'll be stopping along the way at various interesting sites. The trip is about 220 miles. At Lake Titicaca, we'll be visiting the floating islands. I might mention that Lake Titicaca is the highest navigable lake in the world. It's 12,600 feet. In the evening after this tour, we will take a flight back to Lima to be in position for our morning flight to Miami. We'll be departing Lima at about 10 and arriving back in Miami at about 16:30. This is the hotel we'll stay at in Puno. It's a nice hotel, beautiful view. We won't be there very much because we're going to be out on tours. Probably just end up spending the night there. This is what the Peruvian currency looks like. I'll be giving you an exchange chart before we go. And the exchange rate, US dollar to Seoul, is very favorable for the American dollar. Recommendations. The evenings might be cool, so a light jacket would be needed. Insect protection. I mentioned we didn't see any bugs. I don't think there'll be a problem again this May. Rain gear. You might need some. We haven't seen rain in 3 trips. You will need proper shoes, of course, for negotiating Machu Picchu. Uh, some hiking sticks might be handy. A hat, of course, to shade you from the sun, long sleeves if you want to protect yourself from the sun. And for the bus trips and for the excursion up the mountain into Machu Picchu, you might want to have a backpack with some snacks in it. Of course, bring your camera. Don't worry about a climb to Machu Picchu because we'll take a bus up from the valley to the entrance into Machu Picchu. There won't be any climbing, or at least minimal climbing. The cost is $2,490, $100 cheaper than previous trips. A single supplement is $680. If you need a roommate, I can help coordinate one if you desire. I'll need a deposit very soon, but I'll need a balance about 3 months prior to the departure date of the trip. Trip insurance, if desired, should be purchased shortly after or during the time you book for the trip. An extended stay is possible. If you like, you can arrange for that. Indus Travels will set you up for a later departure from Lima. You can plan your own trip, or you can get Indus Travel to plan side trips for you. The possible sites you might want to visit if you stayed. Some people have mentioned that they'd like to get to the Peruvian Amazon or the Nazca lines, or even just a Peru rail excursion. Don't hesitate to call me with any questions. I'll be immediately available to respond to any request. I hope you'll join us for this tour. You'll find it an adventure of a lifetime. As far as Machu Picchu goes, if you don't do anything but stand on that rock where I am and observe Machu Picchu all day long, the beauty makes it worth the trip. It's overwhelmingly beautiful. Thank you.